All right, I want to walk you through this beginning of a Trappist system that started in the 70s. This zoo, this funny farm here, this hellish zone, debris of space and time, what I call a pocket of space and time, residuals. These zones and areas do exist here. And I believe this is what spirits like me came here to wipe out and wipe off the map. This area of the compound, it was and it still is a secret. You won't find anything else about this. No shill would ever tell you anything about this stuff here. I'm going to start with the processing house here. Down here. This was a large white house that all the kids were taken to at first. We were toddlers, some of us even. We each had a family member or handler with. And we all had to take our clothes off, put our shoes and clothes by the door. There was 2 different houses. It was very strange. And then just a dividing line in the middle. So they fused these 2 houses in front of these tall 10 trees here. And this here is the top ledge of a tower. You can see the bars and the rows. Is somebody standing on here taking a picture? So I remember David Morrow being in the middle of the living room here, and they thought he was an impressive brute. So all the kids circled him, and they'd see how many kids he could push off of him. And I was so small that my brother pushed me in front of him into the circle, so I got counted a couple times for that, and the other kids would just go flying. Then I just have, because then they'd have to go sit down. They like to, this was their sifting and sorting out first initial stages. So I was scared that they'd separate me, so my brother and me stood across from each other, and I put a shoe between us on the floor and told the old Nazi guys that were sitting on the couches and he told them, watch what she can do. So I didn't talk much then, and they just looked at me, and I was too nervous to do much of anything. I remember just freezing there, and this was, and I believe this right-sided living room here. And my brother just looks at me and he said, "It's okay, Arua, show him what you can do." So I was afraid to reveal this secret of ours because our grandfather had been training us while sitting in this black chair playing this steel harmonica, and then both of us had 2 little ones, and that's why they made Escape to Witch Mountain. So when we'd start playing them, I would feel this static field around us, and then I would shift into this trance-like state. And then when we put our hands close together, sometimes it would hum and we could move objects. We could talk to each other in our minds, and we were stronger together. It was like we were in another world and we could open up a portal or something. It was amazing, and they took that away from us. So he ends up putting the shoe in the middle between us as we're standing in the living room. And then I was focusing on I was too nervous to do the shoe at first. So then he took the shoelaces out and he put the shoelaces in the middle of the floor. And then I started playing and showed them what I could do. The shoelaces moved, and then me and my brother did the shoe together, and then we lifted it up in the air together. So these guys that were sitting on the couches over here, they pretended they were so nice to me after that. And when I started letting down my guard, trusting them, when me and my brother were comfortable enough that we could lift the shoe together, and then all these kids were just standing on the sidelines in disbelief because they were kind of like chuckling at first. But then this was actually the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, because the Nazis kept me, and this club of old men kept me after that day. So we were processed here in this house, in this, filed, put into gray jumpsuits, and I slept in an upstairs room with my grandfather, but it seemed like that was over here for some reason.